Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Nice to have you come on with us. If you can say hello, we'd appreciate it. Always appreciate our dear friends that follow us daily. But if you're new, don't be shy. We are the friendliest, I think, the friendliest group around right here at the Doctors In podcast. Hi, Lucille. You're number one on the hit parade this morning. Rosalinda, Sandy in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. Andrea in Niagara Falls. Karen, Peterborough. Nellie, how are you? And Nativity, good morning to you. Sandy in Chilliwack, British Columbia. And Maria in Portugal. How are you, Maria? Fran in Orangeville, Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Judy, good morning. Barishon in Montreal. How are you? Lisa. And Carol in Moncton, New Brunswick. Rosa in Montreal. Linda, New Brunswick, good morning to you. Denise in Oakville. Wanda in Ridgeway. Frida, how is you? Sharon in Kansas, must be hot. Paula Joe and Danny Lee, all friends to the program, guys. We love you dearly. Rosa said she's cooking bacon as you speak. Well, you know what, Rosa? You're very smart. Hi, Dennis. Hi, Milika. Hello, Madeleine. Cheryl in West Virginia. Patricia. Kevin, there he is in Shediac, New Brunswick. Our mayor is on a tour. Hi, Sue. How are you? Heather in Miramichi. Jessica in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Janice in Brampton. Rita in New Brunswick. Wanda in Virginia. David in Ridgeway. Good morning, guys. Thank you for coming on. Hi, Lisa. North Carolina. How about that? Sherry is with in Mississauga. Catherine. Cindy in Regina. Claudette, how are you? Denise. Luella, there she is. From West Tennessee. Elaine, how are you? Donna in Belle Eward. Okay, a couple of more, we'll get going. Hi, Roxanne in Pembroke. Francis, Donna, and very hot in Kansas, Sharon said. I bet you. John and Linda in Fenland Falls, Ontario. Hi, Sue in Bolton. Yvonne in Petawawa. Diane. Guys, what a family we have here. Brian, Cindy, how are you? Mary, P-E-I. Maria and Etta. You guys. Carol in West Virginia. I love West Virginia. Amber, New Jersey. Gwen from Alberta. And Lisa had bacon and eggs for breakfast. Me too. Judy, there's Gertie. Lise is on with us this morning. Rita, Elaine, and Donna. So many. I want to... Hi, Patty in Windsor. Christine, how are you in Tilsonburg? Marianne, London. Okay. Good to have you on with us, guys. Thank you very much. I posted on our private Facebook group a study this morning. Let me read it to you. They compared a high-fat dairy to low-fat dairy consumption long-term, and what they were doing is comparing low-fat to high-fat dairy and the outcome when it comes to dementia. Now, I'm going to give you a guess as to which group had less dementia. Low-fat dairy or high-fat dairy, okay? I'm giving you a guess. It's a test. Close your books. You know, I like to do that every once in a while. Close your books. They used to do... Guys, when I was in school, I was a crammer. So I didn't like when the teacher said, close your books. I'm going to test you right now. Like, I needed 24 hours notice, okay? Elaine says high fat. Okay, let me see if I get some more answers here. Marianne and Judy, because you all got the same. Sandy says, oh, okay. So Sandy says low fat. And Lorraine says high fat. Sue, I know what you're eating. Okay. Lee says high fat. Good. Okay. So guys, you closed your books and you got it right. Okay. It's high fat. High fat. High fat dairy. Okay. And you got it. Brahim, you know what the answer is. Okay. But guys, look at, okay. A higher full, here's the study, 25 years, 27,000 participants. And they monitored them. They monitored their brain. And full fat dairy, full fat cheese won the prize. Again, guys, okay, it was funny because this study I saw yesterday, earlier in the day yesterday, I saw a study in 1935. Now, guys, I'm a nutritional historian, okay? I've been looking at the history of food, especially in the last 100 years or so. Like, what changed, okay? But in 1935, this was published. A guy by the name of Sir Robert McCarrison, okay? Sir, okay? He was a sir. Sir Robert McCarrison fed rats, okay? He did this study, experiment. He fed rats meat, milk, butter, bone broth, and his conclusion, because rats, the reason they use rats, guys, is because you get results pretty quick, okay? They got a short lifespan. So you can deduct certain things pretty quickly, right? And in 1935, he did this study, and he gave one group of rats full fat meat, milk, butter, bone broth. Zero disease in these rats. Okay? This is published, guys. Okay? I hadn't seen it before. And if I did, I forgot about it. Okay? And then he fed the second my word, my language, second group of rats, okay? He fed the second group of rats. And you know this was done in Britain because what he did, he gave them in 1935 the poor British diet. Okay, which consisted of white bread, jam, and tea. He gave them tea, not coffee. I don't know why he didn't give the other group coffee. Guys, I'm telling you, and this is published. You can Google it. You can look it up. Guess what group had all the disease? The low-fat, white bread, jam fed rats. Zero disease in the full fat meat, milk, full fat, butter, bone broth. Okay? You can actually read the study, guys. So on this new study done in, I think it was Sweden or Norway. Hold on, let me just I can't remember where it was done. In Sweden. In Sweden. 27,000, hold on here, I got it. 27,670 participants. And they monitored their food 25 years. Again, it's an association study. They're not necessarily the best, but you can still draw some conclusions. Guys, a higher full-fat cheese and cream are associated with lower risk of all-cause dementia. How many times have you heard on this program, fathead? Let's go back to the brain for a minute here, okay? It's repetition, 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 okay? Every time you eat, guys, your brain is an energy hog. It wants 25% of everything you eat ends up in the brain. The brain is an energy hog. It's central headquarters. It's the federal government. Taxes. It wants 25% of everything you eat. Why? Because it needs that. It's like, guys, they're doing now these AI centers. Okay? The problem with AI, okay, you need a lot of energy. You need a lot of energy. So any community that's looking, it's going to create a lot of jobs. It's going to create a lot of revenue for a community, you can imagine. But it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of electricity. You got to generate that. And what I'm saying is your brain is like that, guys. Your brain needs a lot of energy. And it can only live on, your brain can only live on what you give it. Now, I've been talking about this for years, guys, because in 2022, the summer of 2022, go back over old podcasts, okay, that we have done here. If you go to the Doctor's Inn on your favorite device, you can look at all the podcasts that we have done. We're into, I don't know, I'd have to go look at what number we're at. Okay? Guys, I think we're almost, 2,000 podcasts. I could be wrong, might be not quite that, but we're pretty close. Okay? Now, if you go back, and I've done this several times, 2022, the summer of 2022, it turned mental health upside down. 3 things. 1, you know what they found out? Depression, okay? Depression was an energy problem, okay? It wasn't a chemical problem. It wasn't chemical. Because for years we've been told, you don't have enough serotonin. And your medications were dedicated to the uptake of serotonin, thus Prozac and, the others. Okay? And for years, we were told that. It's a chemical imbalance. Nah. You know what they found out? It's not. They found out in bipolar. Okay? In bipolar. It's not a chemical. They thought it was, but it's not. And the third thing they found out in 2022, it all came out in the summer of 2022. The third thing they found out in mental health is Alzheimer's is not tau, T-A-U, proteins that cause Alzheimer's. It all came out in the summer of 2022. It was an energy problem. We were looking for love in all the wrong places. It was an energy problem. It was what you were eating primarily. There's other factors, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But primarily, here's the problem. Okay? And guys, this ought to have turned the world upside down. But Big Pharma and Big Food went into a defensive mode to protect their interest. Can you imagine Big Pharma? They got, what do they got? 40, 80 million Americans on medication for depression, anxiety, ADD, ADHD, Ritalin, Prozac. I mean, guys, it's big industry. One of the biggest in the world is the pharmaceutical. They went into a defensive mode with Big Food. What? We don't want you talking about these things here. We don't want this to become mainstream here. And they hid it. The media barely talked about it. Oh, I talked about it here on this program. You've heard it many, many, many times. Because your brain is headquarters. You are what you eat. And the problem in our society today, we eat the wrong foods. Thus, you get the wrong energy in the brain. Okay? What do we do wrong? Primarily. What is the big problem in mental health? Alzheimer's, depression, bipolar. We'll talk about bipolar in a minute. Okay? What's the big problem? Medication, it's a Band-Aid. It doesn't fix it. Alzheimer's, guys, it's worse than ever. We're not winning, we're losing. Alzheimer's, much, much younger population. And I've been talking about this for years on this program and years before on my radio show, The Doctor Is In. How to prevent Alzheimer's. Talked about even alternative in depression and anxiety and bipolar. Food. Because what's happening, especially the brain, remember now, okay? Let's just do some basics here. Your brain is primarily made up of fat. Okay? It's primarily made up of fat. And very specifically, what fat, okay? If I was to test you this morning, you guys are the best students in the world. You know this answer. It's a DHA fat, okay? The fat that you find in animal food. Your brain's made up of it. DHA, okay? Sardines, DHA, okay? There's EPA, DHA. But your brain is DHA. Your eyeballs, DHA. Your retina, DHA. And what you eat is going to have a big effect. You know, they always negated food. Like this study in 1935 on rats. And what happened in a rat fed two different diets. Okay, one group, one diet, the other group, a poor diet. They saw results. I mean, this has been going on a long time, but guys, the food industry, they don't want that. They don't want that because their big money is in processed foods like cereal. Frosted Flakes are great. No, they're not. They called me Tony the Tiger when I was a kid because of Frosted Flakes. Not because I did like them. But my dad was 100 years ahead of his time. Bacon and eggs. You hear me? Anyway, okay? Guys, it depends on what fat you're eating. Because what's happening in our world, processed foods are laden, inundated with bad fat from seed oils. Famous canola, soybean oil, grapeseed oil, all those oils, you know, originally the cottonseed oil, which is now canola oil. Guys, when that gets up into the brain, it's a bad fat. Your brain oxidizes so much faster. You get free radical damage and inflammation in the brain because we're feeding our brains the bad fat. Your brain was meant to get the good fats, like eggs, meat, fatty meat, and I include fish in there, okay? Dairy. Everybody wants to get rid of dairy. I heard a guy yesterday on a podcast talking about dairy's bad. Well, low-fat dairy is bad. I agree, but not full fat. When you have butter, when you have cream, when you have cheese, and you cook in lard, okay? Guys, butter. That's what your brain demands. So what do we feed our brains? Not we, because it's not you. You know better. I know better. Okay? So, when we feed our brains bad fat, okay, that's one. Terrible. It oxidizes. It's subject to a tremendous inflammatory response within the body. I'll tell you what. Because your body doesn't know what that is. Okay? Guys, you have an immune system. It's very complex. Okay? And you'll understand this because we talk about this quite a bit. Autoimmune. Okay? Auto. Meaning your body's turning on itself. Okay? I often told patients in my office, you're allergic to yourself. Okay? Because you have autoimmune problems. Okay? And guys, your body responds to autoimmune. Why do you think in all autoimmune diseases you get a lot of inflammation? Because the body, it's overreacting. The immune system turns on itself. And it overreacts. Well, in the brain, when you're eating the wrong fats, you're like, guys, margarine. I'll give you an example. You have margarine. Why would anybody want margarine? I don't know. But they've been lied to. So they have some margarine. Your body goes, okay, when margarine gets into your system, your body goes, hello? What are you doing? I don't recognize that. What are you feeding me? That is artificial. I have no receptors for that food. Why are you not eating butter and you're eating margarine instead? Oh yeah, but Dr. Martin, it's low fat. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. So when that stuff gets up into your brain, bad news. Your brain overreacts. There's a cytokine. When I use that word, guys, what I mean is it's an autoimmune response. It's an immune response, cytokines. It sees something foreign, like a bacteria, like a virus, or bad food, a bad fat. It goes, what in the H is that? What the heck? So you get little kids. They're canaries in the coal mine. They live on processed foods, bad fats. No wonder we see so much problem today in mental health. And it starts right with kids. ADD. Do you know how many tens of thousands of kids I saw over the years with like their brains never stopped? Autism. Holy smoke. Starts right in the placenta. And one of the big factors is bad food, bad fat. And then you add sugar to the process. Yikes. What do I say about sugar all the time? Your brain is swimming in a fuel that it can't use. It's like you're swimming in the Atlantic Ocean, but you ain't drinking the water. It's a bad fuel. Your brain wants to operate on fat, but the right fat. That's why every time you have an egg, your brain says, oh, thank goodness. It's amazing, guys. The tens of thousands of kids, the tens of thousands of patients that I saw that were depressed, clinical depression, the thousands of patients that I saw that were diagnosed bipolar. If you could only convince them to change their diet. Wasn't easy. I don't feel good. Guess what food I'm going to choose? Give me a quick fix. The bad combo of processed foods that include the bad fat and bad sugar. disaster. We have more depression today than ever be. Depression's been around a long time, guys. You can read your Bible and read about people that were depressed, including Elijah. But it's the amount. It's where we're at. And we've been lied to. We were told that fat makes you fat. Let's cut that out. Or you want to use a healthier fat, like margarine. Yikes! Your body don't know what that is. It really doesn't. It can't process it properly. It ends up in the brain. It creates an autoimmune response. And we wonder why we're so stinking sick. Why we're so stinking sick mentally. Okay, guys? I'm telling you. So you see these studies. What do you do better with dementia? How do you prevent dementia? One of the biggest things that you can do. Okay, we know about exercise and other things. And we could talk about that too. But guys, for today's purposes, you always start with food. You have to eat anyways. I used to tell my patients, you have to eat, right? Okay? So look at food now. Okay? Look at food as medicine. You maybe never have before. Now I want you to leave my office with a plan. I want you to look, and we're going to guide you. You're going to look from now on at food. Everything you put in your mouth is either going to be good for you, medicine, or bad for you. Okay? And I don't want you to leave the planet. I want you to be able to succeed, not to fail. I always gave patients a plan to succeed, not to fail. And a big part of that plan was making it doable. I said, look, because you're out of whack, we're going to start you. Give me 30 days of your life. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about. You are going to go on a fat, heavy diet. You are going to go on low carb. Well, as a matter of fact, for 30 days, almost no carb. Just trust me on it. And we'll add the carbohydrates after. And it's 30 days. Because I've got a plan for your body. And I didn't care because your brain, I talked to you about this before. What's Alzheimer's? What was it called? In 2005, then they buried that too. Won a Nobel Prize in medicine. Type 3 diabetes. This is what I talk about, guys. Bad fat, bad sugar, a storm in the brain. And these kids, especially, are canaries in the coal mine. They're canaries. Their system is fragile. You don't let a kid drive till he's 16. You certainly don't let a kid drink alcohol till they're, in some states or whatever, 21 years old, because their brains are not even developed yet. A brain is not even fully developed till you're around 25 years old. And we put all these toxins and we put all the bad food in. And then you get canaries in the coal mine. You get these kids, how come they're ADD? Well, headquarters up there is very hypersensitive. The brain can be hypersensitive. You give it the wrong fuel and, oh my, ask a teacher, ask a parent. Guys, remember, when Dr. Martin calls you fathead, it's because he loves you. Hi, fathead. Hi, my fatheads out there. Okay? But the world went low fat, bad fat. Guys, I just say this. When man thinks they're smarter than God, man's smart. Man is very smart. Okay? But when we start playing with nature, the results haven't been purty. They haven't been purty. That's what my mom used to say. It ain't purty. She said, what's going to happen to you? It ain't purty. Okay, guys, we love you and thank you for watching. We appreciate our audience so much. Okay, what's Friday? I always remind you early. Friday's Q&A. Okay, it's get your questions in early because we usually spend 2 days just answering questions, Fridays and Mondays. But get them in before Friday to info@martinclinic.com. Reminder, Rebuild Your Temple. Available. Okay? If you haven't got that book, 30-day spiritual reset. 30-day body reset to rebuild your temple. Okay? Selling like hotcakes. We've been very happy. Okay, guys, we love you. Thanks so much for watching. And listen, by the way, you got any questions? And maybe you got questions, okay? And send them in because, and if you don't want it, you want me to answer, I got to see it. Because sometimes you put your questions up on the scroll. I don't even see it, especially during the program. Like today I really looked over because I gave you a little test. And of course you guys passed with flying colors. As usual, you're kind of boring. You're so smart. Okay, we love you. Talk to you soon.